The Olympics were great. I was surprised at how well they were organized. I think most of the French were. For the years, the running up time uh, was a lot of complaints and a lot of whining. In fact, in the closing ceremony, the head of the Paris Olympics mentioned we went from a nation of whiners to a nation of happy people um, over the Olympics, and that's really what happened. Like everyone was in Paris pretty unhappy about it because it was a lot of construction, it was a lot of preparations, it was, a lot of disruption of daily life. A lot of Parisians left, and then a lot of Parisians came back because they just heard it was so good. And we had family coming over for the Olympics, so we stayed. Otherwise, we probably would have left, following the masses. But it was actually fantastic. It was amazing to see Paris. So the vibe was just great. The vibe in Paris was fantastic. People were happy. The games were incredibly well organized. Um, Weather was not too hot. It was overall really a great experience. Um, I think it was designed for watching on TV. It was designed for, the opening ceremony was great on TV. I don't think it was very good in action. I was there. I went there a few days before to see where they were, those expensive tickets where they would lead to, and I was like, yeah, I could literally stand just beside this and not pay and see the same thing as they're gonna see. So nah, I think I'll watch it on TV. Um, but they did a spectacular job. And right, they really spent a lot of time. Hospitality was a big deal in the sense of training police, training firemen, train subway operators. They had a lot of people there to help, and everyone was really in the mindset of helping. I mean, the amount of volunteers they had and additional staff they brought in was beautiful. It was really a great experience from a welcome to Paris standpoint. My kids said, well, it doesn't really feel like Paris. It's kind of weird. Everyone's friendly. What's going on?
Well,
Which
I
was
heard
kind
that
of,
hospitality played a big role to your point of that, and I was hearing the core CEOs was talking about kind of increased involvement. Were was your so it sounds like, I mean, a core, but were you finding the hospitality industry involved to some degree in some of that training, some of that obviously welcoming guests and hosting them, but what were you observing on that level?
I'd say that was less well done.
Hmm.
Purely hotels, I think. And this is something I spoke to a few revenue manager friends, and I spoke to a few people in the industry about this. And this is a trend that we keep seeing in the industry where there's a big event. We think we're going to, we as I mean hospitality and people think, hey, we can triple our rates because there's a lot of people coming, and then those people don't come, or they get worried and they then go find alternative lodging, and then hotels are not full. And there was a big issue that hotels were not full,
Hmm.
but for a year before they had put rates which were so outrageous that a lot of people then got turned off and then said, well, either I'm not coming because it's too expensive, or I'm not coming because uh, whatever other things they heard, French or whiny, um, justified reason, or I'm not coming purely because it's too, the room nights and it doesn't work. But then it turns out the hotels were pretty empty, not at all full.
Hmm.
And I spoke to quite a lot of people about this. And the same thing happened apparently in the London Olympics. The same thing happened in the Milan Expo. Same thing happened in Vegas Formula One. Um, and it's like a trend we see, and I don't know if it's fear of missing out or the idea that this time is different. I really think we need to just put a study together and say, look, this is what happens every single time. It's not different. It's never different. It just follow basic revenue management rules that you increase price with demand. You don't increase price based on your hope for demand. You see the demand coming in, and then the prices go up, and not before that.
Hmm.
Because it's unfortunate. I think there would have been a lot more people. It would have been even better. And the place was really organized for it. The Paris was really organized for it, and
Yeah.
um, I don't think
I,
any French believed we could pull it off.
I'm glad we're recording because I feel like for Los Angeles in 2028, we were going to have to replay this clip. And, to your point, it's just these things, they vary a little bit, but the fundamentals of how people engage with lodging businesses isn't going to change that much. And so you have to go back to the fundamentals. I'm curious, what takeaways you think from the Olympics this summer we might be able to bring into the world of hospitality. You're a very creative guy, so we could touch on branding. We could touch around anything. Is there anything that you saw, observed, have been thinking about over the past month that now that the Olympics this year have wound down, people that are working in hospitality might be able to kind of think about and carry into the months ahead?
I think, yeah, I mean, the one thing which was really beautiful, like the beauty of it, and that's one thing we do well in hospitality, but like the branding was on point, the style was respected across everything, uniforms, signage, everything was really on point. They really had a brilliant style guide. Whoever did the art direction was great, and it kind of fit with every step. So that uniform experience from visual style to what you experienced in real life, the way people were trained, that whole experience was really something which a lot of hotels get right. This is something a lot of hotels get right, and we have certain elements which we could do better, but in hotels this is really it's almost like someone took the playbook of a hotel and brought it into a whole city, and which made the city great because somebody trained all these people to be friendly. Somebody trained, the my son's subway card didn't work. They replaced it in minutes. Normally they tell you, well, go to the last station and wait in line for an hour, and there they were like, hold on, we have everything. Here's a new one. We're like, wow, this is hospitality. This is what hospitality is all about. There's a problem, you fix it.
I kind of like when these big events come. We had something similar in San Francisco where there was this big Asia Pacific gathering, and the president of China was in, and our president was in, and the whole downtown cleaned up, and you saw it operating at a level where it's just like, is this possible? You can actually do this. So I feel like these events are kind of interesting as inspiration, where it's like, yeah, if we align on delivering a great experience, because it requires everything. I think even listening to you talk about this, there's parallels in a hotel because you talk about transit, you talk about public safety, you talk about so many different elements of creating a great Olympics event. That's true in a hotel too, right? It's like it's everything from operations to marketing in concert. It created this great
Yeah,
experience.
and tech, right? They had the subway, the metro system actually worked together with Apple to build in the ticket into the phone so that you didn't have to go and buy a ticket. You could buy it remote. You could buy it from New York and then have it on your phone. And when you came to Paris, it would activate. And like they built the whole experience in really well. So you came in and we had family come over. They bought everything before they arrived. They activated their ticket as they arrived. It was there for the week. They had no troubles. I mean, there was some hiccups, but somebody came and helped, and it was fine. But like there was really a relationship between branding, training of people, tech, and all these elements came together. All the tickets were online. You didn't have to come out with any printouts. Everything was smooth, and so that there is this. That's where you see this design of the experience, which in hotels, what we can learn that the part where we could get better is the tech part, right? Where we are good is training people, visual aspects of the interior design, and all the branding and so on. In many hotels, they get this right. Where we're not as good is the whole tech part, which, here they did pretty good. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely, you could see there was effort put into the tech side as much as the rest. So it was really a coherent experience.
Amazing. Technology is so important. I do want to go back to kind of what you're talking about of brand, though, because you had published something in your newsletter, which is excellent, by the way. I'll link in the show notes. I encourage everyone to sign up for your newsletter. It's this great little digest of, inspiration, kind of thoughts around innovation, covers technology, it covers branding. But you had a piece in a recent newsletter that talked about kind of brand appearances, right? And you were talking a little bit about Nike, obviously has been associated with athletics and has built a very visible brand in that regard. But you were seeing another brand during the Olympics start to get more prominence. I wonder if you could speak to that a little bit and what you saw or what you are seeing there.
Yeah, which was kind of surprising because LVMH doesn't usually do a lot of, well, they definitely don't do advertising under the brand LVMH. They will do under one of their brands, but not the LVMH brand. So they wear um, the official partner for, I believe, the medals, delivering the medals, and they did there was quite a lot of LVMH style branding as well. You could see it on the basketball court with the monogram style. I don't know if you watched the basketball matches, but there was quite a good, you know, there was a link back to luxury and so on. And it's funny how they're taking that space of the brand for winners, which is kind of surprising because that's not what they would usually do, right? It is a powerful position. If you can own that position, everyone wants to be an aspirational brand. If you can be the brand that is attached to winning, which has been, for years, that has been Nike's. They've been, I would say, the most successful in that space. Way more than Adidas. Several other brands have tried it with by getting celebrities, but Nike has done it scientifically and systematically and really well. But then recently, not so much. And I'm wondering if, their latest ad is pretty controversial, pretty fun. Winning is not for everyone, but it kind of positions them on the other side, right? Of like winning being perceived negative rather than winning being perceived positive. And there was a vibe you saw at the Olympics a lot, which was winners, the fourth place, fifth place, third place, even second place winners running up to the winners and hugging them, for congratulating them for winning, which was pretty amazing because you would think they were, complete competitors and no, but actually they were really friendly, and it was really cool Olympic vibe of everyone kind of coming together and congratulating and celebrating success rather than, crushing the other one down or something.
I enjoyed seeing that. It was really cool to observe that. But I think to your point of perception, I guess I'm thinking about LVMH having a more prominent role in being associated with athletics. I'm curious, what does that say about luxury in kind of this moment of our culture? Is luxury more about performance? Is it more about that than it used to be relaxing or leisure? I'm kind of seeing a lot of luxury hospitality brands even emerging now that are more focused on performance. Is there something going on here that's bigger than just LVMH?
There's something going on with culture in general where, we're wearing hoodies to work, right? We're going in sneakers to work. We're not wear, we don't wear dress shoes so much anymore. So, ties are not happening. So the whole culture is more casual. Um, Sports are the kind of epic clothing for that. So I believe there's a big shift, or has been for the last 20 years. I remember when Microsoft CEO wasn't wearing a tie, and that was like a big deal, right? Like 25 years ago, and he shows up in a suit with no tie, and it's like, well, that's a statement, right? Today they show up in hoodies. It's very different, right? So as the culture shifts to more, sports becoming more, we do much more working out than we used to, right? Nike started, that was the beginning of running, right? Jogging became a thing, right? They
Yeah.
took on that, but that was just the beginning. Now we go to the gym. That was unusual 15 years ago. Few people went to the gym. Most people didn't. Today, a lot of people go to the gym. There are gyms everywhere. So,
Yeah.
which is great because we need it. But it's also changing our culture to having much more casual. So I think luxury is kind of picking up on that and kind of moving on that trend. So it will become harder for, you won't just have a sports brand that's really big. You're going to have the luxury brands moving into the sports, and you see all the big luxury brands starting to make shoes, starting to make running shoes. I don't know that they're performance running shoes, but they're cool to wear running shoes, right? So that's definitely a thing. Hospitality as well. You see these boutique hotels are definitely more casual. The other day, you could see the hotels are making us. I was in a hotel the other day, and they had everyone in white sneakers. So they still had dress pants, but white sneakers. So I was like, okay, okay. So that was the luxury hotel, and they're trying to show that they're also a bit relaxed. So
Yeah.
interesting trend how the world is shifting towards a much more casual, I would say. Maybe we can call it casual. I don't know if that's going to be seen as the wrong way to put it, but in any case, there is a coming together of those worlds.